Intro first. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2024 Astrology Energies and Theme Activation. My name is Reising. Let me know if you are new to my world. I would love to hear about that in the chat. If you've been with me for a while, hello. I'm so excited that you're back. And if you don't know who I am a star channeler, a sacred guide, a transformational mentor, and an evolutionary astrologer. And I help consciousness seekers to reawaken the ancient encoded wisdom that resides in our cells through embodied root transformation of core wounds, of generational patterns, and of cultural conditioning. I can pretty much sum everything up by saying I'm a fear culture destroyer. Yes! So welcome to this live. Hi, Debbie. Yes. Oh, Christine, you're new. Woo! Thanks for coming. Yeah, it's going to be a blast. Kaylee, did I say that right? Welcome. You're new here as well. Newbies. Yay! Newbies in the house. Every transmission that I share is an activation that lands in your cells, and you want to let it unfold over time. It's almost like let yourself marinate in the energy. It's like hold the energy of what comes through for you today, and it will start to open up and create revelations for you in the days and weeks to come. Hi, Patty from Chicago. New again, quite green in this area. Yes. Some fear blasting. Let's do the fear blasting. Yes, that's what we're doing. If you have questions, please share them in the chat. And so I do have a channel here on Insight Timer. Please come on over, subscribe to the channel, be a part of my community. I have free meditations. I have premium meditations. I'm starting to load courses on the premium channel of Insight Timer as well. I'm really going all in on Insight Timer for 2024. So please hang out with me. I'm going to be coming back with lots of beautiful activations. I have a sound bath next week. We'll be coming back to do an Imbolc circle, an activation, which is the cross-quarter holiday between the winter solstice and the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. So that's a little bit about me. If you find beautiful support and guidance in these lives, of course, I am so happy if you feel called to share a donation, because that really helps support me coming here more often, and it helps support my soul-led business, and it helps support humanity awakening through a consciousness revolution that is my magic, and it is my heart-led mission in this world. It also, this is important, it also supports you in creating a really yummy relationship with your money, because that's what's going to move you into more abundance consciousness, and it's going to help you be in this space of knowing that when you invest in yourself, the rest of your life elevates from the frequency that you're creating in this soul growth, in the personal development, in the light body activation. So I'm always grateful for that. So if we are ready, let's get to the 2024 astrology. Melissa says your transmissions are amazing. Thank you, Melissa. Amy's in the house from Oregon. Sup. Yes, all right. Again, let me know if you have your own natal chart in the chat. I'm just curious if you've got your natal chart as we move through this. And like I said, stick around, because at the end we're going to be doing an activation with this, and you don't want to miss that. That's the alchemy. That's where the goods lie, okay? So I'm just going through some of the general themes of 2024 and what my intuitive channel is picking up for them, and kind of like it's like an energetic preparation for where we're moving in 2024. Now, I'm sure some of you feel already how fast the energies have picked up, right? Especially in the last month or so. We are in an integrative phase from all of the light flares, the solar flares, and the plasmic light that has come onto the planet. We're still alchemizing that and integrating that into our experience. So something that I want you to really stay with for a theme of 2024 is giving yourself space and then giving yourself grace. Like those are two words that are really feeling good in my vibration as I continue to move through what's happening right now. And something else that I want you to sit with is unentanglement. The thing is, our stories in our mind, which is usually what's dictating how we react or respond to the world, they get really entangled really fast. So I want you to start feeling into like, what does unentanglement mean to me? How does unentanglement feel, right? Like, because the only one who can unentangle from the experiences, which are really the stories based on the experiences you have, you're the only one that can do it. No one else can do that for you. And as we move into 2024, this really is the year of Aquarius, it's the year of Uranus, and it's a year of Jupiter. So if you know Jupiter, Jupiter is all about expansion in whatever it touches. It doesn't have to be good. It's not always good. It is a benefic planet, but it expands anything that it touches. So even if the energy doesn't feel good, it's going to expand that. So we want to have that awareness with Jupiter. And Uranus is the planet of innovation. It's the planet of freedom. It's the planet of energy, of electricity. Like if you think about lightning, that's Uranus, right? It's like this quick hit that came out of nowhere. So this is where we really want to be in our flow, in our availability, and in our evolutionary birthright, right? Like we are here to change and grow and move. We are not here to stay in stagnation. We're not here to stay in the same space that we find ourselves ever. We are energy first and foremost. Before we're this physical form, we are energy. And I want you to feel like, what is energy? Energy it's everything. It's electricity. It's alive. Energy never ends. It only changes form. And the other piece that I feel like is really important as we move into 2024 is water. So the consciousness of water is so important. So I just actually did a podcast interview, and at the end I felt this movement of like, in 2024, we want to be the water that changes form, it changes shape, right? It goes from ice, it goes to evaporation, it goes to liquid. We want to be that easily moving as water is, and we want to let ourselves float and flow until we reach that bend or that curve when we've got to pick up momentum and we move quicker into the next phase of where the river is going, right? So you've got to let yourself be in these cycles and seasons, especially the astrological weather, and know that there are absolutely times for rest. There are absolutely times to come within. And there are times that you use the energy to create aligned action, to move forward, to take that leap, to step off the precipice, to take that risk in your life, to dare, to find your courage. Because I'll tell you right now, the only thing that ever stops you ever are the stories that are running in your mind. That's it. That's how simple we can actually get to it, right? So you've got, hi, I noticed the chat. Hi, Leela. Does she typically run late? Are you talking about me? Because I'm here. Michelle K, first time. Hi, Michelle K. Leela, let me know if you are connected here and you see me. Are you on? Can everybody see me? Is everybody hearing me? I just want to make sure. Let's double check this. Somebody let me know in the chat. Okay, Michelle, yes. Okay, great. So here we go. We are the water. We are the energy. Okay? So let's really stay with that buoyancy as we move into 2024, because with Uranus and especially with Jupiter, those two themes, things are going to go quick. They're going to go fast. So you have to be able to find your center. You've got to be able to come back and be in this present moment and feel and hear what's coming through for you, for the new path, the new direction, for what wants to appear and take you to a new space in your life. This is so important, okay? So I'm about to reveal my theme for 2024. Are you ready? Drum roll. Nothing is permanent. You want to hear that again? Nothing, no thing is permanent. Tell me how that feels. How does that feel in the chat? Does it feel scary? Does it feel exciting? Does it feel a little nervous? Do you believe it? How does it feel when you really believe that? Can you trust it? How does it feel when you trust it? It feels like the truth is what Melissa says. Both is what Julie says. It feels comforting, Patty says. When we actually own this as a truth, that's where the empowerment lies. Because we realize that when anything wants to shift in our life, it wants to change, it's leading us somewhere better, somewhere bigger, somewhere that our resistance was trying to stop us from going. Melissa says it's liberating. So this is what I want you to really sit with is 2024, nothing's permanent. So we've been laying the foundation until now for dismantling the power over structures, the top-down structures, especially with Pluto and Capricorn. Now Pluto's moving into Aquarius for the second time, and it's moving in on, I think it's January 21st. Yeah, so January 21st, we're on January 8th right now. This is happening soon. You're already feeling these energies. So Pluto in Aquarius Aquarius is the galactic activation. Now, I know a lot of us have heard about Aquarius as the technology, right? I mean, are you hearing all this stuff about AI and about, how the innovation that's going to happen and how fast things are going to go, and we're not even going to know what's going on anymore, right? There's going to be all these new systems, new monetary system, new cryptocurrency, digital currencies, things like that. To me, when I start hearing that and I feel myself start to get revved up, I just come back to the present moment, I come back to myself, and this is where the reality that's actually coming through, which is evolutionary astrology, is that the highest form of technology is right here. This is it. And when we start to give our power over to technology, oh my gosh, it's going to have all the power, it's going to take over, then we start feeling so much less connected to this and all of the power that this body came in with. We are just starting. We're just scratching the surface of the unbelievable multidimensionality of these bodies. So for me in 2024, with Pluto moving back into Aquarius for the second time, that's where we're going, is the highest technology of these bodies. So for many of us, we're actually going to feel this disconnect with social media, with being online, because we're going to want to connect more with being clear and online in our own selves. And that's okay. That's going to really bring us to the foundation, to the solidity of who we are and how are we when we interact with everything that's happening around us, and it's starting to go so fast. But it's I'm getting this vision of when there's something just solid and something's swirling around it. I feel like I've seen this in movies or something because it's just coming through. That's what we're going to be. We're going to be so steadfast in who we are, what we came to do, our soul's mission on this planet, and then we can just tap in. And when we come from that space and we tap into the technology that's rising up, we tap in when it's right. We have the message of okay, now, use it now, come back, use it now, come back, use it now. Does that make sense? I hope that's making sense where I'm going with that. Because this really is a year of reclaiming our energy. You've got to reclaim your energy in every single moment. So as soon, in the moment that you feel an incongruency within yourself, where you feel this struggle coming up, or you feel a defense or reaction, you're going to have to find the courage in that moment to unentangle. I'm bringing it back to unentangle from the person, the experience, the environment, whatever it is. Come back to center, find your energy, however that happens, whether it's 3 minutes of breath work, whether you take a walk outside. Here's the 3 ways that I connect and I get my messages. I take a walk in nature without sound so that I can hear the messages coming through. I get in water, or I sleep, because I get messages, like so many messages while I sleep, because I hold the energy of whatever I'm working on without gripping it, and I let it breathe so that the messages and the guidance can come in. This is the newer soul flow. When we're trying to make a decision immediately and we're trying to control and change that feeling, that's going to actually have us feeling worse and feeling more out of alignment, and then that's going to create a reaction. So here's where I want to talk about Saturn and Pisces. So there's a big retrograde coming in 2024. It's from June 30th to November 16th, and it's the second Saturn and Pisces retrograde. This one is really important, y'all, so I'm highlighting this because Saturn and Pisces is like it's the spiritual mastery that we're coming into as we phase out of the age of Pisces. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. So as we phase out of the age of Pisces, the Saturn in Pisces is like the taskmaster. Saturn wants you to do something really well in the physical world. It wants you to master something. So it's going to present challenges in it so that you become really good at it, because the only way that we move through soul growth and evolution in these bodies as humans is through challenge. It's through duality. It's through contrast. So when we own like the power of that, we become really unstoppable because we don't fear challenges or experiences or shadow coming into our world. We actually welcome it. We realize that's a time to get quiet, go internal, really find that transformation within ourselves. And when we get the enlightenment, when we get the acceleration of the consciousness, then we come back out. And then it becomes easy. The aligned action just happens for us. So I want to take note of this retrograde for Saturn and Pisces. Again, if you have your natal chart, you want to look at whatever house this is in for your natal chart, because that's going to tell you the environment that you're going to be working with in these energies. Okay? So, of course, I meant to write down the degrees of the retrograde in the Saturn retrograde. I didn't write down the degrees. Maybe I'll look that up in a little bit. If anybody, Amy, if you want to look that up for me and put it in the chat, that would be amazing. So I can tell everybody the degrees of that retrograde from June 30th to November 16th. And then you can look at the house in your chart based on those degrees, okay? So here's the deal with this Saturn retrograde. It's the second one, and what's going to happen here is it can feel like you lose a connection with your divine self, and this happens for me where I feel like my guides kind of go offline. It's like you're kind of floating out here in the abyss, and you're like, oh my gosh, am I backtracking? Am I going back from where I've accelerated to the evolution or the dimensions that I've arrived at? And it's just this time for you to like actually review and you to keep coming back to your practice even without the results coming in. Come back to your practice and trust that by showing up day after day and continuing it even when you're not feeling the alignment or the movement forward, when the retrograde ends, you're going to be catapulted from there. Now, the people that don't do this, when they feel this kind of disconnection or where they feel like they go offline and Saturn comes in, Saturn's a malefic planet, so it comes in with the challenge, right? That's where substance can really show up, because Pisces is very much connected to addiction and substance. And the people that like kind of revert and feel themselves trying to disassociate and bring in some substance to just kind of numb out what they're feeling, it's actually going to get much harder and much darker. So it's going to be so much more intense if you revert back. So this is where it's like, it's almost like I want to say hold the line. Even when you can't feel it, hold the line. Tap into your communities, come here, tap into your meditations. Like, just keep trusting it's going to come back. Thank you so much, Amy. So the retrograde starts at 19 degrees of Pisces, and it goes back to 12 degrees of Pisces. Shout out to Amy in Oregon. Thank you. So look at where that is in your natal chart, what house it's in, and that's going to tell you the area of life that this is really going to show up for you. So I'll just give you an example. If it's in the 7th house for you, this is going to come through, the lessons are going to come through your relationships, your one-on-one connections, not just your romantic connections, but your relationships. So Paris, it's Saturn, but Saturn is in Pisces. So it's the planet of Saturn, and then the it's in the astrology, it's in the sign of Pisces. Okay? So when you look at your chart, you want to find the planet Saturn. You're going to want to look at where your Pisces is, and then you've got to look at the degree points, and that's going to show you the house that the transiting Saturn shows up for in your house. Let me know if you have questions about that, okay? So you're just looking at where Pisces is, not where Saturn is, where Pisces is in your natal chart, and you're looking for those degree points, and that's where the house, the environment, this is going to show up in. Okay, I don't see any questions, so let's keep going. I want to talk about Pluto. I've talked a little bit about Pluto and Aquarius, and the thing that I want to bring to our attention is Pluto has a 248-year cycle. You're welcome, Paris. Pluto has a 248-year cycle. So even though we are high technology, we don't live 248 years in this body. So what I think is really interesting is we chose to come in here to work with certain Pluto energies. So we chose to come in and work with Pluto and Capricorn, which was the last 15 years. We chose to come in, depending on our age right now, to work with Pluto and Aquarius, which is going to be the next 20 years. So it'd be interesting to just look at, okay, what signs of Pluto am I here for? Because Pluto is all about the death and rebirth. Now, Pluto's going to go back into Capricorn, and it's going to stay at the 29-degree point. It's going to go back on September 2nd, and it's going to stay there from September 2nd until November 19th. And once November 19th comes around, it's going to go back into Aquarius for good for the next around 20 years. Now, the reason I want to point this out is because between September 2nd and November 19th of 2024, woo! As many of you know, here in the States, that's going to be the election. Oh, that is going to be super interesting to see what goes down, because it's going to be the final anaretic degree of Capricorn, which is 29 degrees. And this is dismantling, this is dying off the power over systems and structures that we have, the imbalanced patriarchal systems, the top-down structures. That's what Capricorn's all about. So this is going to be really interesting, and this is where you've got to keep coming back to your center. You've got to find that unentanglement in every single moment. Reclaim your energy and your power in every single moment, because this is going to be a wild, fast, energetic ride. And remember how I was talking about Uranus and Jupiter in 2024? So that's why I'm saying once Pluto comes back into Capricorn and we've got this energy of Uranus and Jupiter, like anything goes. It's going to be something that we've never seen before. So that's why we want to be in the space of like adaptability. Nothing's permanent. Let's get excited about something new coming in, because y'all, tell me if I'm wrong, but the way we've been doing it has not been working. I mean, period, right? It has not been working. So we've got to do this different. And every single one of us that keeps tapping in and coming into the communities and finding our energy, our alignment, our light, emanating that out into the collective, we are making a difference for when these changes come in, because the energy is going to be so much higher because the consciousness has moved through that evolution at that point of whenever these changes come in. So, yeah, so it's exciting. Another theme that I just want to share real quick is always remember when you're trying to force something, let it go and feel. Let yourself feel over forcing. And it's gonna like glide you in to creating a different type of action and a different path to where you're going. Because if you continue to try to force something, that's not the easeful path. That's not the guidance that came in to take you there. Okay, so I talked about Pluto and Aquarius and what Pluto energies did we come in to work with. Now, Jupiter is moving out of Taurus. Jupiter and Uranus are both in Taurus right now. Jupiter's going to make a move to Gemini. And this is a big deal because this is really going to take us into this deeper space of manifestation through our thoughts, through our present moment thoughts that come in as divine guidance, not through the thoughts that come from past stories that we're carrying as imprints in the cells. That's why this embodied root transformation work is so important. Creating the spaciousness, moving your body, getting body work, doing acupuncture, like getting flow within the body, because once Jupiter moves to Gemini, Jupiter's going to go really fast. Gemini is probably the quickest energy. It's air and it's mutable, so it's very malleable with whatever's coming through. So again, whatever Jupiter attaches to, it's going to expand, okay? So Jupiter moves into Gemini from May 25th of 2024 to June 9th of 2025. So this is going to be like living from your intuitive hits, but you've got to get in touch with those intuitive hits so that you have an awareness of them. You've got to have a discernment between what's the overactive, fear-based mind and what's the intuitive hits and the guidance that's coming in. Because Jupiter is really going to take that to the next level. And again, you want to look at your natal chart, look at where this is moving through and what connections is it making in your chart. Yes, I'll repeat the dates. What connections is it making in your chart? Because that's going to be an activation for you in a unique way, not for the whole collective. So Jupiter moves into Gemini from May 25th of 2024 to June 9th of 2025. So again, where is Gemini in your natal chart? That's going to show you the house or houses that it's moving through, and this is going to be the areas of your life that it's really gonna like expand. It's gonna really create more for you in those areas. Okay? Okay, I don't see any questions. So now Neptune and Uranus and Saturn are all moving sign in 2025. It's not happening in 2024, but I want to give you a heads up about those planets are going to make big moves in 2025. So that's where we really want to create a solid foundation in 2024. And when I say a solid foundation, I'm saying a solid foundation of being comfortable with quick change in our life and knowing that the change is leading us to something bigger. Because it is. I promise you, even if it feels like it's a backtracking, or if it feels like, I'm going to quote failure because there's actually no such thing as failure. There's more information. It's going to take you somewhere that's going to leap you, because that's the higher technology that we're opening up with Pluto and Aquarius. So you've got to trust what Pluto and Aquarius is offering you. So let yourself flow with the movement that comes through. Yvonne, hi. Very grateful to have found this live and a new teacher to follow. Thank you. Yay. Thank you so much. Okay, let's keep going because there's a lot to do and I want to do this activation. And thank you. I so appreciate you all coming into the chat because this is a group. This is a circle. It's not just me. So we're all amplifying together here. So being a Gemini as my sun sign, I will be affected strongly with Jupiter in my sign. Duchess, I got to tell you, Jupiter conjuncting your sun is amazing. That is a wonderful conjunction. So you're going to have a lot of opening in your intuitive mind, in your thoughts. You're going to have an opening in like basically elevating from the duality in your life. So you're going to be able to see both sides, but you get to have it all. We're so often in this competition of like there's only one or the other. But when a Gemini, the highest expression of a Gemini is when a Gemini transcends the duality and realizes like, I'm a creator. I can create it all. Like, this is an abundant life. I don't have to have one or the other. How do I become the innovator of my life and create from there? And the other thing I love about Geminis is they're funny. They are great storytellers, they're great teachers, and they love comedy. So let yourself be light in that energy as well. Okay, so let's see. The other thing I want to talk about, y'all, this is so exciting. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Are you ready? There is no Venus retrograde in 2024. Oh my gosh. Now the thing is, I do love retrogrades because I love soul growth. So when they come, like, I'm ready. I love to go internal. I love winter time. I like to excavate because I am absolutely, if I'm addicted to anything, I'm addicted to healing and continuing to live in this magic of this life. I mean, it is so fun to hear messages and be the psychic, like, creator of this world that I get to live in and that I get to experience. So don't get me wrong, I love retrogrades. But I also love some retrograde free periods. So we don't have the Venus retrograde in 2024. And that just feels like a nice little reprieve for our hearts and our relationships, because those Venus ones, like, they really get you, because the biggest thing here is our relationships. It's how we connect with others, right? And that will really show like blockages in our life and struggles in our life. Am I right? Yeah. Good for you, Duchess. I'm excited for you. Yes. But we do have a Mars retrograde happening at the end of 2024. So I want to make us aware of that, because Mars is a malefic planet like Saturn. So it's going to bring challenge, which ultimately is going to bring blessing, right? That's how we've got to look at it. But we don't have Mars or Venus until the end of 2024. So we've got a really accelerated period that we're moving through here. So the Mars retrograde, of course, I didn't write down the degrees of this either. Amy, if you want to grab those Mars degrees in the retrograde, that would be amazing. The Mars retrograde is December 6th of 2024 until February 24th of 2025. Yeah, over here I only said Mars retrograde at the end of 2024. So, and I don't even have the sign that this is in. I'm assuming that this retrograde is probably in the sign of, it's either in Sagittarius, it's going to be in Capricorn, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Amy, if you can get that, will you throw it up there? I would love that so much. So Amy will let us know where it's going to be in your natal chart. Now, Mars is the planet of action. It's our will. It's how we react or respond in life. And so that's going to show up for you, like, how do you want to rework this? How do you want to renew this in a new way? Okay? Now, we just got through with a whole bunch of retrogrades. So we're actually in the elevation period from all the retrogrades that we've been in. So Uranus is the only planet that's left right now that's in retrograde in Taurus. Thank you so much, Amy. So that Mars retrograde will begin at 6 degrees of Leo to 17 degrees of Cancer. Leo to Cancer on December 6th. Do I have those dates right, Amy? Will you let me know if I have those dates right? December 6th of 2024 to February 24th of 2025. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're going from Leo back to Cancer. Leo is how you show up in the world, how you lead from your heart, how you find your courage and bravery, right? And Cancer is your emotional world. It's your home. It can be like a very protective energy of like, we want to stay safe. We don't want to be too vulnerable in the world. It's how you receive. It's the divine feminine. It's ruled by the moon. Leo's ruled by the sun. It's how you show up in the world, how you go external. So this is going to be a really big Mars retrograde, and I feel like right now as I'm tapping into it, it's going to be a retrograde where you change something in your life and you show up in your soul's mission. Like it might be coming in kind of spurts right now. Like you might be getting hits of like, oh, okay, this is my innate medicine. Because every time we move through a retrograde and we do the deep healing, we actually know more about what we're here to share in whatever area of our life it showed up in. That's what we actually end up bringing to the collective, and we help others move through those areas of their life as well. Whether you make money for it or not, that's really actually insignificant. You are an inner healer, that you have messages and medicine to share with every one of us, and it happens through your soul growth journey. So wow, y'all, now that I'm seeing that the beautiful Amy has shared with us, that's going to be really, really big for the sun and the moon energies at the end of next year, after Pluto goes right back into Capricorn at that 29 anaretic degree mark. Oh my gosh, let's get ready. I'm like, let's get ready to rumble, right? It is going to be so big, so big. Okay, let me know if you have questions. Okay, so let me see, where was I going with this? No Venus, all planets direct. Okay, so Uranus is stationing direct at the end of this month, January 27th, after Pluto goes into Aquarius, and that means all planets will be direct. Y'all, this is go time. This is where you will have the momentum and like the excitement and just kind of like it's like a free fall of the energy where you'll be able to, do all the things, like make the investments with yourself, go on the trip, like start the new business, start the side business, like all of the things, do even projects around the house. You know the projects that you are like procrastinating on all the time. Y'all, I have about 30 pairs of socks that need to be darned. I'm just learning how to darn socks. And that is going to be my project for all planets direct, okay? So just know that you're going to have this surge of energy coming, and it's going to last for quite a while. It goes from January 27th of this month until the first Mercury retrograde, which is April 1st. So we've got all of February, we've got all of March, okay? So that's just going to be like, what you got, universe? Like, let's go, rock and roll. Let yourself just feel the messages come in the morning. Let them inspire you and let them move you through your day. Like, that is going to be the most aligned way to make quantum shifts and leaps in your life. Trust the planets, that they really want to help you in divine ways. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm looking at the time, so I'm just going to go through the Mercury retrogrades and the eclipses real quick, and then we're going to drop into an activation. So if you have questions, now is the time to put them in the chat, okay? The Mercury retrogrades, we've got the first one on April 1st until April 25th. It starts at 27 degrees of Aries, and it goes back to 15 degrees of Aries. So this is going to be about how you speak about who you are. Aries is who you are. How do you show up in the world? And how do you do it in this like pioneering way? How do you do it without the filter? How do you go and be who you are without anybody else's ideas or judgments about who you are? And this is going to be through your thoughts, your ideas, and your communication. Now, we've got the next one is going to be in Virgo, back to Leo. So it's August 5th at 4 degrees of Virgo until August 28th at 21 degrees of Leo. So again, when I'm giving you all of these signs and degrees, these are the places in your natal chart you want to look at what planets and points you have in those degrees and what house these are going to be moving through, because that's the next layer of what area of your life this is going to show up for in really like loud, strong ways. Okay, so Virgo and Leo. Virgo is the mind. It's ruled by Mercury, and it's how you do your day-to-day life. I'm just simplifying these for time purposes, but this is really going to ask you to probably create something new in how you think about your day-to-day life, how you communicate it, and how you actually do it. Like, we're really starting to shift how we show up on a daily basis and getting the results in new ways from there. And then back to Leo. So we've got a Leo, a Mercury retrograde in Leo, and then we're going to have a Mars in Leo. Which I think is interesting. I'm going to have to look into this, because wasn't the last Mars retrograde in Leo, Amy? Let me know if you know in the chat. Okay, so the next Mercury retrograde is November 26th of 2024 in Sagittarius at 22 degrees. And it goes until December 15th in Sagittarius at 6 degrees. So that's all Sagittarius. It doesn't change signs. Sagittarius is the expansion. It's ruled by Jupiter. So it's like Sagittarius is the collective. It's international. It's the higher truth. It's the higher wisdom. It's like, how do I understand more of the thought systems and the belief systems, and how do I get into this like higher vantage point where there's no one way, there's all the ways, and there's benefits, and there's support, and there's uses to everything when we really start opening up to the beauty of all of us being so unique and individual, and the divine truth that we each share together. Oh, it was in Gemini. I wonder why I was thinking it was in Leo. That's interesting. Okay, thanks, Amy. Thank you so much. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk about. Again, if you have questions, put them up, because we're going to do an activation after this. The eclipses. I'm going to talk specifically about one eclipse. I'll tell you about all of them, then I'm going to talk about one of them. So, if you don't know about eclipses, what happens is they will unearth anything that you think you're not ready for. So in retrogrades, we have to be the participant in retrograde energy, where we have to really dive in and review those areas of our life and really reveal the things that are ready to change, that are no longer serving us. While eclipses are like, I'm not waiting for you, I'm bringing it now. So they will reveal the things that we might still be trying to push down or resist or, bypass. Eclipses in whatever area of your chart and whatever points and planets they connect with, they're going to bring that to the surface, ready or not. Okay? Y'all got that? So the first eclipse is March 25th. It's a penumbral lunar eclipse in Libra at 5 degrees. So you want to look at your chart and see where Libra is and where 5 degrees of Libra is. That's going to show you where it's working in your life. The next eclipse is the one I want to talk about. April is going to be a huge month, y'all, so that's not too far away. It's a total solar eclipse in Aries at 19 degrees. This one is conjunct Chiron, and it's an interesting path. So the path of the last total solar eclipse went one way, and this total solar eclipse is going the other way, and they're intersecting. Their paths are intersecting in Texas. So it's just an interesting fun fact to see what happens in Texas, because there's something that's being activated in Texas from these two eclipses coming together. Now, September 17th is a partial lunar eclipse, and that one's in Pisces at 25 degrees. And October 2nd is an annual solar eclipse in Libra at 10 degrees. Now, we're in the Aries-Libra axis for the eclipses, but what happens is on the end or front of either one that we're moving to is we'll get an overlap. So that partial lunar eclipse in Pisces is an overlap while we're in the Aries-Libra nodal axis, okay? So we start to bring in that energy of Pisces, as we move towards that nodal axis coming after the Aries and Libra one. So that's going to bring in a lot of like spiritual awakening, I feel like, during that eclipse. It's going to help accelerate. I want to look again at the Saturn. Yeah, so Saturn will be in retrograde in Pisces when we go through that partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. So that's going to be significant. Now, let's go back to the April 8th total solar eclipse in Aries, conjuncting Chiron. So Chiron is in Aries, and we've been moving through Chiron in Aries for a while. And the biggest signature of this is Chiron is the wounded healer. So it's going to bring up wounds in this area, and it'll look at the area in your chart. Wow, Melissa's going to be in Texas in April. Yeah, woo! It's going to bring up wounds or challenges in that area of your chart of wherever it's showing up as Chiron in Aries, okay? So this is going to be Aries at 19 degrees with that total solar eclipse. So the thing that I want to sit with Chiron in Aries is the wound of the self. Like, how am I showing up? How am I stopping myself from showing up because of the way I've been conditioned? And also the wound of the physical body. How have I been giving my power away from this body? How have I been letting other systems or even people have power over my body? And it actually is basically reawakening us to the fact that this body is the instrument. It is the conduit to our higher connection. Through the body is how we get the messages. So the more that we care for this body in really, really beautiful ways, right? Like, we can get simple with this through water, through rest, through a good, if you can, 8 hours of sleep a night, through, turning off blue screens as much as possible, like not being online before you go to sleep, not being online when you wake up, like really connecting to nature, going for walks, doing breath work, right? Doing your meditation, getting body work, massages, acupuncture, like whatever kind of, therapeutic treatment resonates with you. In 2024, with Uranus, with all of the activation of Aquarius and Uranus, it's really about getting back to our innate language of sound, of frequency, and of energy. So the more that you bring all of those into your life in 2024, the more you're going to move very quickly through any of these activations. Now remember, astrology doesn't rule us. Astrology is a co-creator with us. So we're not recipients of the energies of astrology. We actually are amplifiers of how we can move. So the way that I sit with astrology is it's actually the answers to the test. Instead of us feeling like it's like the teacher or the test that like makes us go through things, it actually helps us have an awareness where we can already be working with them so we can move beyond them and we don't have to be victims to them. So even in retrograde periods, when you really honor, the dark, the shadow, the winter season, going internal, you are like on fire. You are rocking that retrograde because you're using it to its maximum support. It's coming in to help you do something and help you move somewhere. And when you say yes to it, instead of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not regretting it, but instead of like resisting or, having this belief that like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really hard. If you have this belief of like, oh my gosh, this is going to take me to my next level. This is going to catapult me in my life. This is going to open something up for me that I'm not even aware of right now. Like, if you have that kind of energy going into it, then you are going to be mastering that. You are going to be the ultimate co-creator with the astrology that's coming in. And that's where we're going with Pluto in Aquarius. We are the highest technology. We are higher technology than any computer, than anything that we've created, any device, whatever it is. You have the wisdom, you have the truth within yourself. And that feels like a great note to end on. Ooh, thank you, Melissa. I got a donation on that one. Yes. You're feeling it. You're feeling it. All right, before we move into the activation, I just want to check in with y'all. Does anybody have questions, thoughts? Apologies if missed it. So for Aquarius, is Pluto most important period to pay attention to this year? So Pluto, you're going to hear a lot of astrologers talk about Pluto for the collective. It's going to be more of that generalized energy of the collective rather than like a personal planet that's really going to touch you. But I do feel like Pluto going into Aquarius with the Saturn retrograde is so important in the activation of those of us that are here, because I know you're here because you know you're here for a purpose, right? So those of us that are here, we're the bridge generation. We're actually like the gate openers to the age of Aquarius. So to me, these two things coming in together signify the integration of the age of Pisces. Like, how are we alchemizing the age of Pisces? And that's where the spiritual awakening is now opening. So this shows you what happens. Like in a retrograde period, it might feel like you're going backward in your knowledge or in your spirituality or connection. But when you actually allow yourself to go in, create that change, evolve, like become the new iteration, let whatever isn't serving you die off, it catapults you into where you're going in that next phase. So it's almost like you're skipping a lot of the in-between because you're honoring that cycle and season or the cosmic weather that's coming in, and you're letting yourself flow with what you're feeling in every moment. So when I said that you've got to reclaim your energy in every moment, that means you've got to allow yourself to feel the divine guidance of every moment. When you reclaim your energy and you get wildly present in the moment, you hear it, you get that truth, and you take the action from there. We've got to stop trying to take the action before we've ever even processed what's happening within our energy, because our energy does not lie. Our minds do. Our minds will lie time and time again based on perceived security and safety. We've got to condition the nervous system. Yeah, Trish said that gave me chills when you said we are the bridge. Sun Aquarius. But if Pluto is conjunct our planets, that's a big deal, isn't it? I have my Sun, Mars, and Saturn in Aquarius. So this looks to be a very transformational period for me. Leela, tell me what degrees those are at. So let me know in the chat what degrees they're at. Nancy says, when looking at my natal chart, am I looking at degrees? Say Leo is which planet? Is it moving or where it is when I was born? So when you're looking at your chart with what I'm telling you about these transiting aspects and planets, you just want to look at where the degrees are on, let me see if I can pull up a chart real quick just to show you here. Okay, so if you can see that right here, so this is the 10th house. Up here, you're going to see where the degrees are of what the sign is. So that's 9th. So that's Sagittarius. So Sagittarius rules the 10th house. It begins the 10th house there, and the 10th house moves to Capricorn right there. And you'll see the degree right there to the degree right there. So this 10th house has Sagittarius and Capricorn inside of it. Let me know if that answered your question. And that's what you want to look at based on what I'm telling you in these degree points. What house is it showing up in? And once you figure that out, then you can start to look at, is it making any aspects with my natal planets and points? Okay. So Leela, you haven't told me yet where your Pluto points are. So I'm basically going to answer your question by saying it matters what degrees those are at. Okay, so Sun 12, Mars 16, Saturn 24. So you'll probably feel it just a little bit, but because your sun sign is at 12 degrees of Aquarius and Pluto's just going into Aquarius and it moves so slow, it's going to be a while before you feel those conjunctions. I tend to use 10 degrees as a conjunction. Different people use different ranges for that, but for a conjunction, I'll look at 10 degrees. But of course, the most impactful conjunction is going to be the exact degree point. So it's going to be years before you really get on those exact degree points, Leela. I haven't looked, so I can't tell when it's going to come closer to 12 degrees. But you will start to feel that. But listen, let me tell you this. This is the last thing I'm going to say before the activation. I had a tapping on my soul. I had a great business. I had built this wonderful business. I had a great life. I traveled all the time. I lived in the city. I had a house, like all the things. But I had this tapping on my soul, and I knew I was meant to do more. But yet I could never get myself to like leave this comfort and security zone that I was in. I had built it over like 20 years or something. It was very comfortable. But yet every day it was like this struggle that showed up. And I had to convince myself that I was so happy with that life because I was able to do all these things. Now, your midheaven is a point in your chart. Typically, I look at Placidus. Typically, it's going to be the start to your 10th house. That's not always the case, but typically it is. So your midheaven is going to be a big signature of your work life. And when Pluto crossed my midheaven is when I left. That's when it's like the death of something happens for the rebirth of something else. So that's when I just suddenly, I had this momentum, I had this energy. I was like, I had all of the downloads that were coming in, and I was like, oh my God, I can do this. I'm leaving. And everything, I just kept taking steps in that direction, and I never stopped because I had that, like, the power of Pluto was creating the death of what wasn't working for me anymore in my work. Even though for years I was feeling it and I wanted out, I wanted out, I wanted out. And then finally when that happened, I did it. It's been transforming, but this is what I want to show you about the power of Pluto. So I don't fear Pluto. I actually like Pluto because in the reality of this human experience is we are here to die and be reborn over and over. And it can come down to the microscopic place of the day and night. Every day when you rest, when you go to sleep, that's actually time to let go of everything that's not serving you from that day and connect with higher guidance in your cosmic connection during sleep with your melatonin at a high. And the next morning is your rebirth. The next morning is your pure potential. Just like you're being born again, you can do anything. Anything is possible. But we've held on to all these stories that actually stomp out all of those possibilities. So I just want you to sit with that. Sit with the power of Pluto, because when these structures really do go down of power over, right now we can feel it. We can see it. They are hanging on. They do not want to let go. And when they go down, it is going to be intense. It's going to be big. But what I want us to remember is it has not been working in the way that it has been set up. It does not work that way. We want to be coming from a new earth system of benevolence, of love, of abundance consciousness, of having money in the hands of conscious people who put the money back into their communities, of eating real food, of being connected to the sun, to the earth, to the fertility of this land, right? So I say we get really excited about the power of Pluto. I say we get excited for this 29 anaretic degree of Capricorn, and we say yes to the quick energy that comes in for change. And that starts in our lives. When you start living in that like ease of adaptability and change in your life, of nothing being permanent, that emanates out into the collective, and that becomes our belief system. Y'all, our belief system is more powerful than any structures or systems we've put in place. And when we come together with our belief system, that becomes the dominant narrative. That's what we're doing, especially in the age of Aquarius. So the bridge generation, we are setting up the golden age for generations to come. This is an important mission. This is an important place in history. Like, it's amazing that we're doing this. And it's intense. And at times it's really challenging. And at times there's like tears. And it's like it takes everything in us to show up and do the work. That's why you've got to have a community that is in your frequency. You've got to be finding those people that hold you in unconditioned and witness, because you will change quickly in those spaces. You stay in the communities that you're self-sacrificing yourself, and change happens very slowly there, because you keep gathering evidence for what's not possible. I feel like that's a good ending before we do the activation. How do you feel? Let me know. Let me know. Are you ready? Are you still with me? Yay! Michelle K says that was awesome. Yes! Trish says yes. Rebecca says amazing. All right. So, we're going to do 3 minutes. I know I'm holding you over a little, and if you're not able to stay, I totally get it. If you're able to stay, let's do this together, okay? Because now we want to land all of the activations that have come through the mind so far. We want to root them in the body. So this is why it's so important. We can't just learn through talking and speaking and listening anymore. We've got to embody it. Yes, Nancy says, so great, very generous. All right, let's go. So we are going to do some Kundalini activation with our breath right now. And I want you to remember this in 2024. This is 3 minutes. I'm going to start the timer. And you can change everything in 3 minutes. Remember that. Does that become your belief system? Because whatever your belief system is, becomes your reality. So if you feel a struggle, if you feel an incongruency or an imbalance happening, and if you feel a reaction, unentangle and create this change. 3 minutes is all you need. You can do it in 1, but we're going to do 3. Okay, so if you don't know these breaths, I'm going to go through them real quick. So we're going to begin with breath of fire. If you are pregnant or menstruating, do not do this breath. It's too moving. Just move to the earth grounding breath and trust that that's exactly where you're supposed to be. You're meeting your body and saying yes to your body right here and now. From the breath of fire. So the breath of fire is, we're going to be taking quick inhales and exhales, equal parts through the nose. And we're going to be drawing the navel in on the exhale. So that's the action of this breath. And you can have your arms up with little antennas to the sky connecting you. You can open your heart with this breath, or arms out. You want to have an open diaphragm. From there, we're going to go to the spinal twist. That's really going to open the heart. So we're going to inhale to the left, exhale to the right. And we're going to do 1 minute of that. And you're going to just feel your heart space open from the back to the front. You're going to receive through the back. You're going to give through the front. You're going to be nurturing inside of the heart between the two for yourself with lots of self-love and care. And then we're going to integrate those 2 breaths into our nervous system through sitting cat-cows. So I'm sitting on the edge of my chair, and you're going to inhale as you extend back into cow, and then you're going to exhale as you round forward into cat. Okay? So I don't see anything in the chat, so I trust that we are all here and we are ready to go. I'm going to start the timer. So again, if you're sitting, you can stand to do all these things as well, but if you're sitting, kind of get on the edge of your seat and get your spine nice and upright, right? Connect up into that higher self, always having that connection to your higher self and guidance, and having that groundedness through your feet in the earth, okay? So here we go. We're going to start with breath of fire. And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Keep going. I'm just going to show you. You're doing great. Nice soft jaw, soft shoulders, soft pelvic bowl. Keep going. Meet your body where you are. Don't push yourself. Don't force yourself, but really let yourself come to that edge and meet yourself. And trust that you'll move through as you are ready. Doing great. If emotions are coming up, this is a great time to let them up and out. Release them from the cells. And start to give yourself a little smile even through the tears. If you have tears coming up, you're doing so good. In 3, 2, 1, and we're just going to stop for a moment. Let it integrate. Feel the energy moving through your body. Soften down. And now we're going to move up to the Kundalini spinal twist. Arms up, parallel to the floor. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. I tend to close my eyes on this one or I get a little dizzy. Again, meet yourself where it feels good, where you can really embody the whole motion and the breath. Opening the heart, feeling the back open, feeling the front open, and the middle just really expanding. You're doing great. Almost there. In 3, 2, 1. Come back to center, eyes closed. Let yourself just arrive. Wow, feel the energy is really moving now. Just notice what you've created within this body, this conduit, this system, this connection. And just enjoy this feeling that's moving through your body. Be fully present in this moment. Good. And now we're going to move to cat-cow. So go ahead and start with the inhale as you extend. Exhale as you round forward. And go ahead at your own pace. Again, really meeting your body. Letting yourself enjoy this movement. And letting the movement sync up with your breath. Full breath in. Complete exhale out. Just expelling all the breath. And on the inhale, you're really creating expansion. Oh, nice. I just got some adjustments. So let yourself just fully inhabit the spine, and you're creating new space in the spine for all to arrive that's been dropped in this moment, in this connection together. Good. In 3, 2, 1. And then just bring it back. Fully arrive to this moment. Having your eyes closed, dropping in, and feeling yourself create space. Breathing in and out. And starting to merge with the frequency that's arriving. It's growing. Feeling the vibrations move through your whole body. Letting yourself fully rest in this place of remembrance. In this place of trust. in this place of excitement of the unknown, of all that is to come, of all that is even to change, where you know that you are held through the evolution, you are supported, you are loved, you are guided. And noticing how easy or easeful it was to just fully arrive into this moment, letting go of even the conversation, letting go of today, of yesterday, of tomorrow. Being in a space of curiosity. Knowing that this is the alchemy of all that has arrived. There's no force, there's no control. And you continue to breathe in and breathe out. Knowing that with every breath, you change and you grow. And with every breath, you can also release and let go. Energy never ends. Energy changes. It evolves. And you allow the sound and frequency to transport you into your infinite, wise, awakened self. You continue to drop deeper and deeper into this beautiful inner sanctuary, the sacred space that can be accessed anywhere, anytime, at any moment. Change is growth. Flow is life. Consciousness is everywhere, beyond form. And you feel a lightness moving through you now. The frequency activates. The sacred wisdom within. And so it is, and evermore. And you take in a nice, deep, beautiful, nourishing breath now. And you feel the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands. There's a tingling, there's an energy, there's a life force exchange. It is continual, it never ends. Just like the breath that we breathe, our hearts that beat. And as you move forward in this year of impermanence, of this year of growth and evolution, know that that energy is available for you always. It is you, you are it. It is eternal. And start to notice the air on your skin as you come back fully to this room and to this circle. I want to thank you deeply for being a part of this divine exchange, of this elevation and evolution of not only our personal lives, but of the community, of the collective. We are depositing all that has been received during this time, all that is enlightened and awakened within us. We are depositing that through the earth and her consciousness into the ley lines of this world, through the light and the energy of the grid in the field. Every time we come together in these spaces, there's more that awakens. We share this with those who have yet to feel the call to their own evolution or consciousness revolution. I thank you deeply from my heart. I appreciate you being here, and when you're ready to come back to the room and the space, please open your eyes and just give me a little sparkle. I know I can't see you, but you can see me, but let's just share this together into the world. I always feel so energized after this time together. So again, thank you so much for being here. Of course, I would love to see you over on my channel here on Insight Timer. Please come to my full sound bath. That's going to be happening next week. And come to the In Bulk Circle and event. Those are always really, really beautiful and very integrative. And again, if you feel called to share a donation, I appreciate that so much in my soul-led and heart-led mission for humanity and for the age of Aquarius. I do hope to really amplify my energy here on Insight Timer. And to everybody who was new here, I'm just so excited to be in connection with you. I hope that we continue. To everyone who has been in my world, you know I love you. You know it. We are doing this thing, and we're doing it different. So thank you so much. I'm going to check the chat here. Amy says, so lovely. Nancy says, very generous. Wow, amazing. I am so following you. Thank you so much for these lessons. You're welcome. Thank you, Nancy. Rebecca, Michelle K, thank you. Patty says, yes, I agree with what Nancy said. Lacey gives me the sparkles and says, magic. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Paris, I love your energy, the way you speak, and all your wisdom. You resonate so much to me. You're welcome, Paris. Melissa, so incredible. Thank you and bless you. Bless you as well. Thank you for being here and creating the strength of this circle. My channel is a community channel, and I feed off of what you're sharing with me, and that's how I tap in. So thank you. Michelle K says powerful and beautiful. I hope you all feel grounded and excited for 2024, and I just trust that this time together was a beautiful activation in your foundation. Let it continue to reveal, notice your dreams, where you go forward from here. These messages, everything that I share as a star channeler gets embedded in the cells. I do cellular recoding and DNA evolution, so it will continue to open in beautiful ways for you. I do hope to see you next week at my full sound bath or at In Bulk. I will continue to come back hopefully every week. If not, it will be every 2 weeks. I'm sending you so much love for the Uranus activation of 2024. We are going to be changing this thing for humanity. I love being here and being a part of it with you. I'm sending you all of my warmth and care from my heart to yours. Mwah. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Mwah.